The process of learning a piece of music can be compared with building a house. When you first meet with an architect, proudly showing him or her pictures of the beautiful piece of land where you want to build your house, the architect comes back with conceptual drawings of several house designs. You choose a design and the architect goes to work. This can be compared with choosing a piece you want to play. You are now very excited about learning it. But let's go back to the architect. He needs to do some tedious technical work to come up with blueprints which the construction company can understand. The details are endless. This wall is 5 bricks high, 5 feet long. After 2 feet and at a height of 6 inches, he needs a hole with 2 inches diameter for a plumbing pipe, and so on. For you, that compares to the process of learning the notes, memorizing the piece and studying the score and its history. Then the house building starts. First, they dig a big hole that does not look beautiful, neither does the foundation after the concrete is poured. For you that means, when you practice slow intonation, you have to temporarily and patiently put aside the desire to play the piece at full speed with all emotional content. Don't worry, we will get there. But back to the house. After the frame is built and the roof is up, but before the walls are in, the plumbers and the electricians have to build the infrastructure with pipes and cables. Notice that they do this only one time in one process for the entire house. For you, this means working out one subject at a time on the entire piece. You can practice every shift in the piece one day. You can work out all the different vibrato speeds the next day. You can practice stroke designs or pacing, always on the entire work. A very time-saving approach to learning. Only after the walls, doors and windows have been installed can the interior design begin. Color, wallpaper, flooring, furniture, pictures, all the things that bring character to the house and that express your personality are finally brought in. This is when you work out dynamics, sound colors, retards, all the details you have been dreaming about. And here is the most important comparison. Building the house may have taken a year. Painting it takes 2 weeks. Memorizing, practicing intonation, stroke designs are of course done with the end result in mind, but the detailed analytical and technical work will take 90% of your practice time, and the inspired musical realization of your dreams gets the final 10%. What I don't want you to do is learn only one page and spend a lot of time immediately polishing that one page. In our house comparison, that's like building one corner of the house, complete with wallpaper and pictures, before the roof is up and the plumbing is installed. At this pace, it will take too long to learn one piece, the process will be frustrating, and you will not assemble a large repertoire. So, start practicing only one process at a time. You will learn faster and you will be much happier with your progress. Don't worry about details of a small retard while you practice intonation. While you pour a foundation for your house, you can do nothing about the wallpaper in the living room. The human mind learns best if it is given the chance to learn one piece of new information at a time. Once the information is securely memorized, it can be combined with a large number of other factors. For practicing a musical instrument, that means working on one issue at a time is most effective. For example, when you learn a new piece, memorize it first. Once you have it memorized, work on intonation. When it is in tune, work on rhythm, tempo and pacing. When this is done, you can choose to work on sound quality, then on vibrato, always one issue at a time. This is where the comparison with the layer cake comes in. Don't mix the bottom of your cake with the icing. In other words, don't practice sophisticated sound colors until the piece is memorized, in tune, has good rhythm and good sound. If you pace your practicing well, you will have plenty of time to put the icing on the cake, and it will be great fun. Your foundation will be so solid that the sophisticated ideas will work every time. Konstantin Stanislavski was a Russian acting teacher who developed a famous method which inspires actors to portray their most sincere feelings with great projection to the audience. I encourage you to get a copy of his book called An Actor Prepares. The method is directly applicable to musical interpretation. Please print out the template on this page. You will see 4 columns. In the first column, you write the bar numbers of the phrase you want to work on. In the next column, you write a few adjectives that describe the phrase in your opinion. These are words like reminiscent, longing, powerful, tragic, funny, or whatever you associate with the character of that particular moment of music. Let's skip the third column for a moment and work in the right column titled Technical Tools. Here you write down detailed technical solutions. For example, if you wrote reminiscent in the character column, you might want to use a vibrato with moderate to slow speed. You have to decide on the amplitude of that vibrato and which bow speed, bow pressure and sounding point best brings this character to the audience. Practice the phrase with these techniques. So far, this is all about the craft of playing your instrument. To truly capture the emotional content of the phrase, we go back to the third column titled Corresponding Experience or Event. You will have to come up with a memory from your very own life when you felt the way the adjectives describe the phrase in column 2. When you have located that memory and the associated feelings, play the phrase again. You will experience the phrase with very strong emotions. Your task is now to make these emotions as obvious as possible to your audience. When you are satisfied with this phrase, start the same process on the next phrase and work through the entire piece. This will make your performances very powerful and you will feel comfortable with your own decisions and your emotions. Making a tempo chart is a fun way of getting to know the structure and the pacing of a movement. Here's what you have to do. Print out a tempo chart from this webpage and find at least 3 different recordings of your work. Write the violinist's name of the first recording on top of the first column and listen to the movement with a metronome in your hand. Every time the tempo changes, write down the bar number and the new metronome number. Then follow the same procedure with the second and the third recording. The next step is the most fun. Write your name on top of the fourth column and choose the metronome numbers which you would like to play. For example, you might like the beginning tempo from recording number 2, but you prefer the tempo for the second theme from recording number 1, etc. This is a great planning tool for your individual pacing of a composition. Now you have to practice these tempi. Feel free to change metronome numbers in the process when you come up with better solutions. You will learn many details about the structure of your work, and you are well prepared to rehearse the piece with a pianist or with an orchestra, because you will know exactly what you want. This is a very powerful practice method. Play only the first and the second note of a piece and listen to the connection between them. You will need all of the knowledge about right hand and left hand technique to describe exactly what is happening at this moment. How do you manage the bow change? Is there a change of sounding point, a string crossing? Does the left hand perform a finger drop or a lift? Is it a shift? If so, which shifting pattern are you using and how do you coordinate it with your bow? Is the vibrato continuous? Once you have solved this first connection and it sounds exactly the way you want, practice only the connection from the second note to the third note. Let your mind run through the same list of questions and practice it until you are satisfied. This is of course very time-consuming, but it is extremely effective. I know very few practice methods that will raise your level of playing as quickly as this one will.